Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of BIYB. And today, on this extended edition of the podcast of BIYB, I want to talk a little bit more in depth about the situation with tramp stamps and what you can learn from it, and extrapolate on my most recent video, the folly of the tramp stamps, finding your customer base. So, in marketing, you when you have a product, you have to identify what the benefits of the product are, who would benefit from that, and who you need to be selling it to. Now, that can be as simple as saying you are making a new type of cookie, and you would look at two primary demographics. You're either going to cater this product's marketing around children, or you're going to cater this product around maybe adult women, or maybe you can give it some kind of like toxic masculine kind of like sheen to it and make it for more for men. So it really does depend. But some of the most valuable things you can do is retroactively make a product with a specific audience in mind. And I think that's in theory what tried to happen with tramp stamps. And for those who aren't aware, it's a alt rock, an alt punk band, all girls that quite frankly didn't grow up necessarily with the lifestyle and sort of just got a couple the get up and the hair and all that. And there are there's a very large amount of inauthenticity, which ultimately was their downfall. The problem is that punk alt scene like people who are formerly scene kids from the 2000s that are currently alt kids right now. There are people that are in the alt community right now, e-girls and all that stuff. So the problem is that type of community has always, and I mean always, valued and considered authenticity in art one of the pillars of that type of genre of music. And when your like origin story of just three girls met in a bar and decided to start a fucking band, like, that shit is dysfunctional. Like, you're gonna have a weird, like a dysfunctional ass YouTube page, dysfunctional Instagram. Everything's not gonna be as clean as it was. It's going to be all over the place. And so one of the problems that comes with that is, it was too clean. If you wanted to, not to say that like them trying to cater to them this was a bad point, and I'm also not going to touch on the Dr. Luke, association with the sexual predator and all that stuff. Like that's for a different podcast. I'm not touching that. But from a purely business standpoint, they could have succeeded if they had done more research and they didn't just expect, all right, most of these people are young or stupid, so they're just going to accept what we spoon feed them, treating it like it's a genre like rock and roll or country music or anything like that. These are communities, these subcultures value authenticity, and if you're not giving them authenticity, you're going to fail. How could they have done things differently? Well, for one thing, they could have it should have been more gradual. One of the things they definitely should have done is they should have purged their old social medias. They should have started brand spanking new, deleted everything, waited a full year before starting, and then with their fresh social media, their cleaned up internet presence, they start gradually, putting little snippets out, sound like a TikTok here, have more authentic appearing growth, and then obviously that, like you say, we didn't put anything for a year because we were practicing together and just trying to learn and we finally were ready to start putting stuff out. They went too fast. They went far too fast. And Gen Z and Gen Z internet calling them on their bullshit. So what can you learn from this as a business owner and as a marketeer? Well, one of the primary things I think you can learn from this is you need to make sure that you're not patronizing your audience, and you actually know and have researched the type of people that you're going to be catering to. It's sort of like what a straight person thinks gay people wear versus what gay people wear. It's like it's a big difference. It's like they think like I saw a fantastic case of the Pride collection at Target, and it looked. And here's the thing: I am a straight man. I have always identified as a straight man, and even I can tell that this is because here's the thing: it's the type of shit I would create for it. So I know it's kind of fucked. But it's bad, So you have to understand the culture of the customer base you're trying to cater to, and if you can't do that, you have no business going for that specific audience. There are easier audiences that are more saturated with more competition. If you're going for a subculture to capitalize on that subculture's dollar by using their culture as a reason for capital gain, you need to make sure that your product or your product or your presentation or your music or whatever you want it to be treats that culture with a degree of reverence and respect. Without doing that, you're going to end up like the tramp stamps and be dragged. Now, not to say that the tramp stamps aren't going to have their own following. They obviously did have people that liked them already. But this whole incident has kneecapped their growth. They're most likely never going to reach critical acclaim. They're never going to make an obscene amount of money. They're probably what's going to end up happening is they're going to give it another try for a year or two, and then they're going to be like, fuck it, like let's just go back and do something else in the industry with our contacts and move on. Because I'm not going to make starving artist money if I can just write other songs for other people and make a decent living. And that's just the fact of the matter at the end of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Build It Yourself Business. I appreciate you. I appreciate your listenership, and I really hope that you learned something from this. I plan on having a good friend of the show, Mr. Brian Ortega, who ran a record company proper, over in the next couple weeks. So, looking forward to that interview. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.